Good morning. Happy Friday. There was that one song during Countdown that was like, this is too spooky. Too spooky for this beautiful June morning. Sorry, I'm cleaning off the palette. I'm almost done with it. Too spooky for me. Yes, Radio Dread, the one by famous streamer Stephen George. Chaz says it was a beautiful morning. Wasn't it, though? I had a hoodie on when I went out for my ride, and then I spilled espresso all over it, and it was a white hoodie. So now the hoodie has these, like, orange-brown stains on it that I'm soaking in OxyClean. Don't try to bike with a cortado in your hand. That was a mistake. I had it on my hand too, but I've washed my hands, so it's gone. So yeah, now there is espresso on my bike. There is espresso on my hoodie. I have these capri leggings on under the skirt I have on, and it's all over those. Alright, palette's clean. This is why I never buy white sweaters. This is my UV summer hoodie. If I want to like cover my arms and it's not too hot. I wish it were a little bit more cooling than it is. It's a little warm sometimes. Listen, I picked up a cortado from a coffee shop and then I had to bike up a hill. And I was on my gravel bike, which means I have a really, really, really big granny gear on the back. And like I was in that to help myself. And like I'm trying to go up this hill and I have this little cortado. And I have my wrist on the hood of the bike, and so I'm holding the hood with my left hand. And then I have my right wrist resting on the right hood so I can kind of steer. And I was going over some bumps and it's just everywhere. Like it was down my, it's kind of still orange. It was like down my arm and like I had my sleeves pushed up and so like it's on. It's fine. It's soaking in OxyClean. I can just get a new one. It's from Uniqlo. Is your foot doing better? Why was your espresso orange? It's slightly orange, right? Like it's burnt sienna. It's like not chocolate brown, it's like slightly orange espresso. It's like an orange brown. My foot is doing better. I'm able to walk without the shoe. I mean, I was able to walk without the shoe before, but it doesn't hurt as much to walk without the shoe. Radio said, oh, I was thinking like orange. No, like burnt sienna orange. Anyway, it's all over my hoodie. Oh, I already cut this. Why did I do that? Good, my confusion is now gone. I'm so glad. I know that was going to bother you all day. Is it Lunar's mod anniversary? Is that new, Twitch? Anyway, congrats, Lunar Pearl. We're gonna spray the stuff on it. Where is the stuff? There it is. Past few weeks. Cool. All right, I'm gonna start by spraying this so it can dry and tighten up the canvas for me. Then we'll read alerts and then we'll talk about this painting. I need to grab something. 1 second. All right. The stuff doesn't smell bad. It just has a scent. It reminds me a little bit of old hairspray, like Aquanet hairspray. All right, let's see if that does enough. I was gonna let you guys vote on what size canvas I paint, but then I decided to do 11 by 14. And it's going to be a portrait and not a landscape. That's coffee, that's water. Vagabond, I did think about that. It'd be really cool if you could put the mushroom pick in mod. I did think about that. And then I got distracted by cleaning off the palette. Mushroom pick. All right. Well, let's wait to play that, Chaz, until I get through alerts. If we can't do alla prima, we can do almost prima. We're gonna see. We'll talk about that after alerts. We have a 21-month resub from Elven Scout, 32 from Eliason89, 39 from Bored Turtle, 38 from Missing No Leader, and 39 from Bardic Puppy. Thank you all for resubs this morning. It's been a hot minute since I painted. My goal today is after stream, I'm going to start photographing the sapling piece, which is on that wall, and give that to Dan because he has the time-lapse ready. It just needs me to do the other part of it. I was gonna say, why am I not... Oh, I broke the straw. Shoot. No wonder this wasn't working. The straw's broken. Okay. There's only a drop of coffee left. I made cold brew, and then I was convinced to pick up a cortado. Alright, well, that's fine. We'll have to figure out what to do about that. And it's like not a regular straw. Aquarium tubing? Wow. Oh, that worked pretty good. We got a little ripple down here. Let's see if I can spray some more of that in that ripple. All right, so this painting, a friend of mine took this picture and he showed it to me. He took it when he went to New Zealand. So I really loved it. And I was like, it's really great composition. I really love the colors, this photo. And I was like, hey, do you mind if I paint that and then sell the painting, even though it's your photo? And he was like, that's totally fine. He's like, let me know when it goes up. I was like, okay. And he's like, are you gonna paint it blue? I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, the photo's blue. And I was like, was the mushroom not blue? And he's like, oh, it is. He's like, I just thought maybe you'd make it look like one of the North American mushrooms and not a New Zealand mushroom. I was like, oh no, I love the fact that it's blue. And he's like, I just thought people might not believe it's actually blue. And I was like, oh yeah, for sure. We do not have one of those in North America. But it's blue. It's great. Is that a Stanley? No. My water bottle? This is a thermo flask. Oh, I spilled espresso on this too because it was sitting in my bottle cage on my bike. So there's espresso all over this as well. Radio Dread says, I was wondering if you took it since this one is apparently mostly seen in New Zealand and India. Nope, I did not take it. But isn't it a pretty composition? He did a great job with it. So we discussed, Stephen, Chaz, and I doing this alla prima because the background is so blurred. And I don't think that's going to happen. So we decided to call it like, we're trying to do alla prima, but it's not going to be alla prima. So my thought is to sketch it out roughly, do burnt sienna underpainting, and then do a very, very painterly background because the background is super blurred, the foreground is as well, and the mushroom isn't. So my thought is do all of the background, do all of the foreground today. And then next week we just gotta like very carefully tiny brush paint the mushroom, and there's like a rock right here. I might make the rock blurry too, because it feels really out of place. So that's the plan. That's the hope, is I finish all the background today. And the photograph is not the same ratio as this 11 by 14. It's the same ratio as my 18 by 24 canvases. But if we have any hope of doing this in 2 sessions, we're going to do it 11-14. And the only change I made from the file he gave me is I darkened the background only, because I thought it would make the mushroom pop just a little bit more. And my painting isn't going to be perfectly 1-to-1. I tend to paint more saturated. So I did not up the saturation in the photo. I just darkened the background so I could see it. And thought it would be nice to, I should have put lines on this, make it pop a little bit more. Vagabond. Oh, I immediately upped the saturation. Where's my third line? It's approximately here. There's my third line. We'll call that my third line. I'll try and put the stem mostly on that. I lost the saturation. I'm so guilty of that. I think I made it a little too bell-shaped. Like, it needs to probably come in a little bit. Yeah, that feels better. My chalk pastel is already worn down a lot. Time to sharpen that. B. Croaky says, I'm guessing no, but is this mushroom edible? I mean, being blue, it kind of screams no. I looked it up. It's unknown, but others in the genus are poisonous, so yeah, mushrooms are very difficult. There's a few that have no lookalikes in North America. I saw a lion's mane mushroom once out in a park, and I was like, oh, that's a lion's mane. Do they have a lookalike? And at the time I didn't know the answer to that, so I decided not to take it. Which was probably just a smart move in general. I know there's foraging groups in cities you can find, and then they'll teach you things about, like, mushrooms. People who actually know about what ones are safe. If I could just cheaply get enoki mushrooms, though, my life would be perfect. I'm pretty sure I dragged Chaz into a supermarket in Japan just to be like, look at the price of these. And then I maybe cried. A 100 bits from Fire Goddess. Are we painting shrooms? This one, it's blue. I feel like it's known for that in New Zealand. I'm putting too much detail in this chalk. That's fine. This is the rock, this triangle piece. So we got something over here. A vine of some sort.
A Star Ghost restores 1 part of your energy.
Thank you. My energy has been restored. This tree comes down. There's our painting. We have 300 bits from Aggregated Molecules, who says, after experimenting with mushrooms, you may need a Starkos. Okay. Time to do an underwash, or a overwash glaze. Underpainting. I need that, and I need glazing liquid. I hope I have more of this. I mean, I have enough for this painting. I'm just starting to run low. Stream finished already? Nah. We just read alerts, we talked about spilling espresso everywhere, and we drew, and now it's time to paint. I should erase that line, the vertical line I drew. So I'm mixing up 3 levels of this burnt sienna for the underpainting. A very transparent, a semi-transparent, and then an opaque one. And I'm going to start by painting the opaque in the darkest areas, and then I'll do the semi-transparent everywhere else, and then we'll do the very transparent over everything. But we need to test this. I'm running low on my shop towels. Oh no. I'll need to get some from downstairs. We have a 39-month resub from Storms002. Hello, good morning. Why do they call it under when you overbrush the painting? Alright, this is supposed to be semi-transparent. This is very transparent. And then this is opaque, and I did not put them in order here. Sounds like a job for Steven. Water conditioner. I like to use the water conditioner on the underpainting especially because it helps fill in any of the tiny spots on the canvas, so it really sinks into the low points. It kind of breaks the surface tension a bit better. More. Alright, darkest areas. And I'm finding that this is not flowing as well as I want. So we're going to make it slightly more transparent so it does. It's an underpainting. It should be somewhat messy. One of the things I love about underpaintings is kind of how messy you can be painting them, and then it's like, oh yeah, it looks kind of neat just being an underpainting. It's slightly magical. Did I? Yeah, I finished all of that. there's the first layer. Well, I need to do the mushroom too, I guess. Kind of think I showed too much of the underside of the cap. It needs to come down. That might stick. Let's put this back. This plastic back because it'll at least peel off the plastic. All right, now we finished that layer. On to the next layer. So I think, which layer do I want to do next? I think I want to do the lightest layer. And then we'll use the medium layer to bring back any other stuff we need to. Do I have a bigger brush? This one maybe? Yeah. And this is pretty dry. We'll start over here. And I'm going to very quickly run out of this I'm seeing now. Do you see how it's like subtly yellowish now? We're just gonna keep doing that everywhere. And then we're gonna give ourselves a mid-tone between what I've done already. I'm also going to recognize I've made a complete mess. And the problem is some of this is still wet, so all it's doing is smearing what I've done, which I don't love. This part is wet. Okay. We have a 38-month resub from Noah. Hi, Noah. Noah says today. Today is a great day for Noah. I might need to use a paper towel and take some of this off. I'm seeing that now. So we're gonna do that quick. We're gonna just have to leave the bottom of this canvas. Or do that later. After stream, we'll do that. All right, now we did that, so now we need to do the mid layer. Maybe clean off my hands. Maybe have some water. Sakura Celica says, it's very pretty right now though. Isn't it? That's the beauty of underpaintings. It's like, look at this mess. When I finish the underpainting, someone remind me to take a photo of it as it is. Actually, it's not doing what it needs to because it's all wet from the glazing liquid. Cool. We may need to give that a few minutes. Anyway, let's talk about something for like, I don't know, 10 minutes. I gotta cover this up before it dries out. So bike. The doctor told me I shouldn't do any 100-mile rides, so we're gonna do like a 33-mile ride. $99 is fine then. All right, who saw the hockey game last night? The first 2 periods were like, oh. It was really disheartening. And then the second I messaged Bike group chat, I was like, man, this game is really sad. We scored a goal. And then we got tied up. And then there was a really close call because like the last 2 minutes of third period was crazy. Yeah, they were. So then there was a call where the Golden Knights shot on our goal. And like our goalie dove on it and like had it. And then the refs blew the whistle. And then like the timing was really close or strange. It kind of like got away from the goalie and got into the net. So the other team challenged it. And the refs were like, no, our call stands. The whistle was blown. It was before. And there was some sort of rule about like intent to blow whistle. And like it was going to get called. So like it kind of reminded me of is it the falling body rule in sumo? But then they had to take a penalty and then we were on a power play. And then I'm pretty sure we scored after that. But it was tied up at the end of the third period and we went into overtime for like 9 minutes or so, which is basically sudden death. Whoever scores wins. And we scored. So now we're tied up 1-1 for the Stanley Cup. And I would have really loved to have been there. I mean, obviously, but one of my bike friends is really, really excitable about the Hurricanes. And it's infectious to be around him because I was at a place on Tuesday with him watching the game. And like we scored in the first like 20 seconds of that game. And he had to go around and high-five everyone at the bar. Like the group of us and anyone else at the bar. He was very excited. So like he was at that game and I was like, oh, I wish I could just be there and like watch his reactions to all of this. My kind of guy. He brought his like, because they do the towels and then they spin them around. He brought it to the bar and he had it and he was spinning around there at the bar. He's a sweetheart. It was very fun. We have a 38-month resub from Kit Collide. Hello, good morning. We're waiting for our underpainting to dry just a little bit more before we do a little bit more of the underpainting. Still a little bit of glare, so I can tell it's a little wet yet. The other thing I found out this week was there's a bike ride I've been doing with my friends once a year. I mean, I've done it twice. This would have been my 3rd year, and we thought it was a very specific weekend, and we all signed up. We're like, all right. And then I got an email. It's like, we changed the date. And it's a date I'm out of town, and I'm like, blow on it. The hairdryer might work. I know some people do that with acrylic, but I worry that the paint is going to dry and flake off if I do that with the heat. I'm at work. Like, this is dry. Leaving fingerprints in it. Oh, underpainting. Hairdryer would make me concerned. Yeah, I know some people use them on acrylics. We're just not. We're gonna leave it. Am I excited to get back to hitting and strangling men from the front? It's been a few weeks since we've played Hitman, and I expect to do poorly tonight. I just gotta remember, throw wrench from behind, don't attack from the front. When in doubt, fish. God, the fish is so good. It's my favorite. Fish is quieter than wrench. Good to know. Thank you, Chaz. See, if I start laying down paint, it's just going to pick it up. Because that's what it's doing. You can't loosen valves with a fish? Are there valves to loosen? Fish is funnier than wrench, true. Because I started to lay down paint here and all it did was pick it up. I think this part's too high up too. It needs to go, or too low. Yeah, this needs to come up higher. That's fine. This isn't underpainting. Well, it's good. All right, what's our glare situation? So many valves. Instead of hearing a clank if you miss and the wrench hits the ground, maybe you'll get to hear a plop if the fish misses and hits the ground. What is my paint marker doing on the floor? What else is going on? My dad and stepmom were just here. I had asked for them to bring me a piece of art that they had that they were getting rid of. And she brought that, and it's this giant metal sculpture of Detroit. And it's something she's had for a long time that I really loved. And I was like, if you're getting rid of it, I want it. So they brought that. She had this bike lock, bike rack. The kind you would like lock a bike to that has a bike on it. So she brought that, and it has a really pretty patina on it because it's kind of truly probably in need of a powder coat, but it now lives at my house. And then they were here for a few days, and then they went to visit my sister and her family, and then they came back for a night, and then they went back home. So it was a nice little visit. And they missed all of our good weather. But they get to go back to hot Florida weather. How long was their trip in total? Let's see, they got here on a Thursday and they left here on a Thursday. So like, they were gone for like a week-ish at home. It was a Thursday. All right, this needs to get darker. It's a nice length for a trip. Yeah, it was a good length. I mean, they did have to go to 2 cities, so that makes it a little bit longer and harder, but it's like because they're going back and forth between them. How does this part go? This is the kind of thing right here that I needed to start to fill in more. This does go in front of that. We have a 22-month resub from Siraj. He says, hello, was it a strawberry and rhubarb crumble that you made? It looked amazing. Yes, it was. I thought I had put a description in the Instagram post and like wrote strawberry rhubarb crisp, but when I looked at it later, it looked like I didn't, so don't know where that went. But it was very tasty. I had a little bit extra for breakfast this morning. Oh, that's better. That's where that should sit. Much better. Cool. I don't love what's happening here because I think the line is wrong. That's fine. I'm hoping that when I do the painting part of this, that will clear up and fix that part. Okay, where was I working? Oh yeah, over here. This part is super dark. Like, this part should not be this bright. That's better. Just tone that down a little bit. We have a 27-month resub from Soph G. Wow, 27. Good morning. I'm liking how this is coming together, even for being an underpainting. Forest of a single mushroom. Kind of looks that way. Renee says, I'm pretty sure there's a happy little gnome hiding nearby, worried about his mushroom. Oh, poor guy. I'm almost done with the underpainting. I just kind of have to do down here yet. I'm not gonna lie, this part is like the most confusing part too. A lot of this part down here is just blurred like bokeh. So I'm just trying to give it a little bit of texture so I can see what it's doing. I'm trying to keep it accurate in location to where the darker spots are versus the lighter spots. Alright, I feel pretty good about that. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take a photo because I said I needed to. Oops. We have a 39-month resub from Fossix. Good morning. Trying to determine how I want to paint this. I should probably start with the background and maybe work dark to light. With a brush is my suggestion. Paint it well? Nah. Like, I could paint all of the highlights first and then do the shades, or I could do them first and then work our way into those bright spots. And that might be preferable because like these lighter edges on these trees and like the bokeh we're getting like here. It's most extreme here. I mean, we're getting a little bit here. So the dark brown color for the darkest color is very much burnt umber. That's Siva. And I'm pretty sure that it'd be a good idea just to take burnt umber and lay down the darkest values, which are here. There's a little bit in here. And then like some of this tree and these trees get a little bit of it. And then we just kind of work our way lighter with it. And the mushroom's gonna just kind of be burnt sienna for a long time. Where is Two-Bringer? So we're gonna take some of this we'll probably just do a little bit of value scale with the burnt umber. And then at some point I might add some greens in, but we're gonna start with this. Tube ringer? Yeah, that's the name of this. It's called a tube ringer, like a laundry wringer. And it kind of works the same way. These turn and then they crimp the end to push all of the paint towards the top. They sell a plastic version. I would recommend the metal, especially if you're using aluminum tubes like I do. Like here's my titanium. Like see how it's getting all here? So if I start from the bottom, I can push all of this. Even for my toothpaste tubes. I do sometimes send my toothpaste tube through it. So I can pinch the end of it, and then I can spin it, and then it comes out here. And it pushes all the paint up here. And you can't go too much or you'll break the cap. So I just do it a little bit each time. And eventually you have almost empty tubes like so, where it's just this little bit left at the end. This is exactly the color of espresso. Because it's on my hands and I was like, wait. I thought we cleaned that off. Hi, what do you think of underpainting?
Wow. Looks good.
Thank you.
What's it like to work on a canvas that size after working on a larger canvas for 13 weeks?
I told chat that I almost let them vote on what size canvas I did.
And would that have been a mistake?
Maybe. I don't know, chat. Would that have been a mistake? I only have 3 sizes, 18 by 24, 11/14, and 8 by 10. This is 11/14.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised you didn't go with a...
8 by 10?
Yeah, a smaller one.
Here, hand me that. Here, this is the smallest. Here's my medium canvas, and then the big one is my normal canvas.
Fills the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it looks good. It's an 11 by 14.
Yeah, it does.
But...
I almost let them vote.
8 by 10 would have also worked pretty well.
The ratio is 18 by 24 of the image. It's the same ratio. So I'm just kind of...
Yeah. Yeah. I'm of the mindset that if you have a tiny thing that you've taken a picture of, so like if you have a mushroom on the forest floor, that it looks good on a smaller canvas because it's...
tiny.
Yeah, like it's more accurate to
Chat is not to be trusted.
the size of it. Not that things can't be also illustrated larger, but yeah, looks good. Well, bye.
Well, bye. Alright, so now I have burnt umber on my brush, and we're going to start to block in some of these darker spots. It's mostly dry. Can I rest my hand here, though? I don't like that brush. It's too soft. Let's try this one. So this is true color. This is no longer underpainting. We're just going to start adding our real colors. We're gonna try not to mess up our line. This will be a little slow going, trying to fill in all this. I'm also cleaning up some of my lines as I'm working in through the dark colors. Like if I don't like where something is sitting, I might push it over a little bit. And because the background is blurry, I'm trying not to do too harsh of lines. Probably cover that zinc white because I won't be using it for a bit. We're gonna keep working with the burnt umber. Like this highlight right here, I don't think I put it in the right spot at all. So if this is up there, we have a dark shadow that sits right here. So that's that. Then we have another one that sits right here. Right where I put the highlights. It's actually the opposite of what I had done. Is the underpainting done? Yeah, I did take a photo. Thank you, Storms. I took it before I started adding the burnt umber. I haven't decided if I'm leaving this rock in focus or not yet. Alright, so this sits here. Everything must be out of focus. We mustn't detract from our mushroom. See, that's what I'm leaning towards, Croaky. I'm like, if this rock, this triangle rock right here, is in focus, it's going to look, I mean, in the photo, it's pulling your eye down there. Like, you're like, oh, blue mushroom. Oh, yeah, rock. So I think I need to blur that too. And that's not going to be difficult. I just paint it less detailed. Let's put it to a poll. This, and then we got another little bit. And another bit there. And another bit there. This part is a mess. I painted it a mess with the underpainting. This guy goes there. And this one sits behind it. Where do you start though? You start here. Let me also get that. We have a 36-month resub from Mao. Hello. Thanks for hitting 3 years. Welcome in. We're painting mushroom. Every time I look over at OBS, I'm like, oh, that's looking really good. And then I look at the painting and I'm like, this is a mess. What are you doing? It's going to be one of those step back paintings and look at it. We have a 38-month resub from Andrew in the kitchen. Good morning, or I guess afternoon for you. Renee says, we are trusting the process, as always. Trying. We'll see. This is that, and then this guy actually does this too. All right, we have this branch. And you sit behind that branch. So part of this is like making sure that the right ones are in front of each other here. Vagabond. It'll be a cold day in hell before I trust the process. Curvy tree. This needs to kind of move over a little bit. Yeah. Better. All right, now this guy. The tree next to it, this one has like some moss on it. So I can't get too close to it. Because we gotta account for that. Although we can always add that in on top of the brown. Oh, I don't think I told you guys. I've really been in the mood to do some film photography lately. So I got some. I mean, I still have my camera. I went and got film. And I took some photos this morning, and I obviously don't have them back yet. Because I didn't finish the roll. But at some point I will, and there will be photos. Hopefully. I learned that they don't produce the battery my camera takes anymore for the light meter. Because it was a mercury battery. I don't know when they stopped making those, but at some point they had alkaline batteries in that size and voltage, and that's what I used in college for that camera. And I had 2 of them in my camera bag. And they were expired in 2011. So that was actually quite funny. So I was like, what do people do for that now? There's not really a good solution. And the answer is some people use hearing aid batteries. This line is wrong. Let's fix that. Because the voltage is closer to what I need at 1.35 volts for the light meter instead of 1.5 volts. They don't hold a charge as long as like an alkaline equivalent, but they keep more of a consistent equivalent across the life of the battery. And hearing aid batteries are relatively cheap compared to something that's made to replace that. I'm gonna draw this line in. So all I did today, because I don't have my batteries yet. Oh, and then you do a 3D printed holder to hold the batteries inside of the battery compartment, because the hearing aid batteries are much smaller. And I asked a friend to print it, and he forgot, but it's fine because the batteries aren't here yet either. So I just used a light meter app, and I guess we'll see how they turn out. Do I like that line? This one could probably come over too. Have I ever taken a black and white photo and colored in with colored pencils or watercolors? No, but that could be something I do. I did buy black and white film. I also bought color film, and that's what I shot with this morning. The like 4 pictures I took. One of the things I did in college, though, is I took a photo and then I embroidered on top of the photo. That was fun. I should have done more of that. Vagabond says, from the 26th to the 31st, I took almost 2,000 photos, so now I'm suffering through the edits. Last night, Steven's like, Chaz, Mallory is going to take photos again, but she's going to pay for every single one, because with film you have to pay to develop. As being mediator to the George is included in Chaz's pay grade. I think Steven just wanted someone on his side. He's lucky Jeff wasn't there. This burnt umber is turning into part of the indoor painting, but that's okay. Jess says, I mean, shooting on film in 2026 is very, quote, sometimes there are expensive things are worse vibe. Maybe. We'll see how they turn out. I only bought 2 rolls. Maybe this will push me to get a nice digital camera for a photo. Or maybe not. Maybe they'll be like, no, we're going to do more film. More film all the time. But like maybe I could print one on watercolor paper and then paint on it. Think about it, won't you? All right, let's see. This goes up. But I'm really liking how the underpainting's looking. So if that is there, then we have this. There's getting to be too much messiness down here that's throwing me off visually, but that's okay. We will get there eventually. And this part is one of the darkest parts of the painting. I don't like where this branch is either. So we will be moving that. Because I brought it like straight horizontal, it needs to almost angle. So I keep getting lost. I'm like trying to map out mentally where I am on the blurry background and foreground. Like this needs to come up here and then loop around here towards this. So if that loops this way, then it's like, oh, well then there's this thing here, this blob of dark color. And then we have this. And this is all a mess. But it's also like very, very light right there, so. Oh my gosh. That was a chunk of dried paint. Okay. Let's paint the edges. Painting that side edge really brought it together. It was so little. But it made a big difference. Like, wow. I mean, it's still quite a mess. Like, it's a hot mess, but it's an underpainting. That's okay. Trying not to judge that too much, even though I was like, look at the background done full color today. Look at where we are. how this stick. Don't forget the bottom layer. Yeah. Looking at OBS where it's this big in my vision, it looks really nice for an underpainting. The values are in, and like the major shapes are in, which is pretty cool. While I have paint out, I might paint the bottom of it. And we'll wrap up from there. Then we'll take some full strength sienna, which I've actually already done, but that's fine. Realize I'm out of umber. Cool. There. Underpainting. I think the underpainting looks good for an underpainting. Like, better than I expected it to. So my plan next time is to continue on the background, obviously. We're gonna leave the blue part till the very end. So it's going to be doing a lot of value in the background with our burnt umber, and then getting that lighter with some of our highlight colors. And then adding in some green, because like all of this very, very light stuff way back here is whites and greens. Basically everything's, there's a little bit of yellow, mostly down in here in the foreground, but mostly everything is pretty burnt umber green. But it kind of has this nice autumn look right now. All right, brushes are clean. And we can start to talk about, for the rest of the week, what's going on. What if monochrome with just blue mushroom? No, we got to do some more detail. Blurry detail, but detail. I'm going to hang this on the wall because all of the sides are wet right now after stream is over. Nat already did that. Today's Friday, which means that tonight is Hitman on Steven's channel. You did edit it? I need to. Is it in mod Radio Dread? I'll have to look in a minute. Sunday is Hades stream on Steven's channel. And Monday will be Ghost of Yote. And I believe everything next week's normal. And then we will continue this on Friday next week. Looking mod. Accidentally hit Siri and then open Spotify? What if more saturation? What if only blue? Oh, you guys. Not the one with the gnome above the black and white with blue? I mean, the sienna's kind of looking fun. The sienna number. All right. Thanks everyone for being here. I'm going to go see if I got all of the espresso out of my hoodie that I got it all spilled on. And I don't know what else I'm doing today. Oh, I'm going to photograph the sapling painting, the last one that I did, so that I can give it to Dan so that it can go up on YouTube, eBay, Redbubble soon. So it should be up by the time I stream the next stream for this painting. I still think gnome is best. All right, everyone, have a good Friday, and I hope to see you tonight for Hitman. And maybe go get your laundry done, because that's what I guess Steven is going to do next.